Hello and welcome. My name is Lynn, and today I am going to craft with the Cottage Cuts Halloween release. But I am not going to make a Halloween card, so leave it to me to just have some crazy ideas and do things a little bit differently. I am sure you're going to see a lot of Halloween inspiration from the rest of the team. But when I saw the castle and the Victorian gate, the first thing that I thought of was a kind of princess fairy tale sort of card. And so that's what I'm striving to make today. So the cottage gate is very similar in construction to the castle, which I am starting in on here. There is one die that cuts you out the main form, and then a second die that cuts out the lovely brick detail. And my cutting mat is a little bit warped, and so when I put the intricate die through, or really it's one die plate, but I do partial die cutting, so I just use my scrap solid color cardstock and just place a bit of cardstock over the area that I want. And when I was die cutting the brick detail, not all of the brick pieces fell out. And rather than actually run it through a second time, which I'm sure would have done the job nicely, I just left it because I kind of like that look. It sort of gives you a little bit more just texture and visual interest. So I'm gonna keep that warped mat, try to straighten it out, but when I go to use this die set again, I need to remember that I actually think I prefer the look of a few of those solid bricks staying in. And so I need to kind of remember to do that intentionally next time. This time was a happy accident, but I want to try to do that more deliberately next time. I think it would be a little bit difficult to inlay the bricks back in because they are not all the exact same, which is what makes this detailed design so wonderful. So the castle does come in two main parts, and then there are a few different balcony railings you can add. I'm only going to add the one on the left because the one that is hanging off of the tower portion of the castle, the brace for it kind of looks a little bit like a cobweb, which I think is a really lovely Halloween design. But because we're not going Halloween with this card, I decided to just leave that one off. And I have assembled the door, which is lovely. The frame is one die cut. The door panel itself is a separate die cut that has some really lovely kind of wood detailing, kind of the slats. It's not really wood grain, but it's more the individual kind of planks. And then you get some separate little dies for the die cuts for the kind of the ironworks of the hinge of the door and the door handle and doorknob. And there are, I think, 3 different size windows that you can add to your castle. And what I decided was, I'm not sure why, but the rest of the house is not awake yet. This is going to be a daytime scene. But somebody is in the tower and they've got their lights on. So, so I just decided to do something a little bit differently. Usually I have behind the window, the solid portion, you can die cut that out of yellow to indicate that maybe the lights are on. And usually I have all the lights on in a house, but I thought this time, again, just wanted to try something a little bit different and create some interest, create some story behind this scene. So this here is the cute witch that you can definitely um, dress up with a hat to make her look more witchy. Her boots are definitely a little bit witchy, so there's only so much I can do to because there isn't other footwear options for her. So I definitely can see there's still a little bit of witchy in the cute version of this girl that I assembled. But I'm gonna leave the hat off and I'm going to leave some of the detailing off on her dress in the hopes that it makes her look a little bit less witchy. And I wanted her to have a bit fuller hair because it sort of looks like with the witch's hat that she's got pigtails, but we don't have little bows, to indicate that that's the case. And so I'm just going to die cut the hair portion again. I forgot about the boots initially, so I've die cut those as well. And I did want to have a little bit of an accent on her dress because her boots I decided would be this nice dark purple. So I thought having a little bit of that dark purple as part of her dress might be nice as well. So it's just a nice little bow at the top, sort of a little collar almost. And that also gives me a little bit more area to attach her head. And for her eyes, what I did was I just used a black gel pen and colored that in. And I didn't complete my thought before, so with the extra bit of hair, I'm gonna layer that in on the back and fill out her hair from behind because there was a little bit of a gap um, between like right to the sides of her neck, and so I wanted to fill that in with hair just to make her have fuller hair. And I took a white gel pen after I made sure that my black glaze pen for the eyes were completely dry, and then I took a white gel pen to just dot on that little highlight that you often see on eyes, and that really helps to bring any living creature, make it look a little bit more alive. So whether it's for your cute critters or for people characters, it really helps quite a bit. And so here from this spooky tree gnome set, I've pulled out this tree, which I feel like is only spooky because of the eyes that are in that this portion here that I'm covering in black. I'm gonna still cover it with black. I thought about maybe just using a different shade of brown, but black looks nice and it's not spooky without the eyes. So I think it just looks like a tree just with a little dead spot in there. So I've die cut a lot of leaves in some lovely fall colors. And here I am attaching brown leaves, the same brown as the tree. And that is less for the color and more so that I can have a little bit more area to extend leaves onto. So basically it kind of extends the tree branches out a little bit, and my intention is to cover most of those brown leaves up. That way I can make the tree feel a little bit more full and a little bit more alive instead of dead branches. So I'm going to just dot on all of these different leaves, and it's really great because the die plate has a lot of different shaped leaves. I feel like most of them, the ones that I cut out anyways, are in groupings of 2 leaves, but then you get some that are groupings of 3, and you get some single leaves as well. And also the shapes of the leaves are a little bit different too. So there's quite a lot of variety, and it's really great to kind of build up, as you can see here. There's only so full you can really make this, although I guess you can keep on going beyond as far as you like. But it does take a lot of die cuts. I won't lie. So thankfully there are a lot of die cut leaf die cuts on the plate, but I still had to run it through quite a few times to get as many as I thought I would need. And and I think in the end I might have die cut a few more just to get the colors balance that I wanted. But you can see how fun it is to sort of transform this this tree, and a lot of the ones that I'm not using are a little bit torn, a little bit which you can still use, especially if you're going to cover them up. But I think it's kind of fun to just die cut your leaves out of different colors, and then you can really use this tree for different seasons. And oh, I forgot to mention with the cat and the owl, I did um, use a white gel pen for their eyes because I die cut them out of darker colored cardstock. So to fit all of these lovely elements onto a single card, because they are really nice size, you can see how large the castle is once it's assembled, how large the tree is. So I am going to make a 5x7 card. So I've cut down my card base to 7 inches by 10, and along the 10-inch edge I scored that in half at 5 inches. And to make this sort of feel like the perspective makes sense, basically, because our cute witchy girl here, she's as tall as the castle. So for this to make sense, I wanted to try to create a scene where it feels like the castle is far away at a distance. So I created a bit of a driveway that the gates are blocking. And that driveway is cut as a sort of like an elongated trapezoid so that it has that sort of forced perspective, meaning closer to you, the base of that trapezoid is wider. And then as we get further up the card, to show that that is further away, instead of just a rectangle, it's a trapezoid where the base at the opposite end is more narrow. So it looks like it's smaller, and the reason why it would be smaller is because it's further away in the distance. So that's kind of what I'm hoping will make the scene feel like, oh, it kind of makes sense that the girl is so large, the castle, if you had them side by side, they would be about the same size, but that castle is further away, so that's why it looks the way it does. So that's something that you can do with any cottage cut dies. Even if they are size-wise not necessarily in scale with each other, you can sort of do this sort of trick with forcing the perspective and still have them on the same scene. And you can tell me whether you think it passes. I think it works well enough to kind of give that illusion. So the other thing that I wanted to make sure to do was also to kind of keep her as far away from the castle as possible, so that you don't have that direct comparison of how large she is as compared to how large the castle is. And the tree also makes for a really nice kind of barrier for that as well. So that's how I arrived at this composition. And my little owl friend here is the last character that I need to add to the scene. And I thought about putting him on the roof, but but then I thought it might be nice to set him on top of the gate here. Just a cute little. I love all the little details that you get in Cottage Cuts Dies, and so it's just fun to kind of sneak in all of these little characters. And of course, last minute had to think about what I would do for a sentiment. And thankfully, there was this space here that is large enough for this stamp sentiment, which I felt like is kind of a nice everyday sentiment. So this card doesn't have to be for any specific occasion. And of course, if I had planned this out in advance, embossing the sentiment would have been the first thing to do so that I don't have any mistakes this late in the card making process. But love how fun the castle is, and how well it pairs with the gate. I think those might be my favorite die sets in this release, just because it's just so fun, and you can definitely use this in a more spooky Halloween theme, or just make a lot of different styles of castles. I think you could go very Victorian with it, and ancient even, or very Disney, like I've tried to on this card. So love it. I hope you do too. Let me know in the comments. And if you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope one day, perhaps today, you will subscribe so that you can get notified whenever I post new videos to my channel. Thanks so much. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.